we had history on Saturday. I saw our buddy Jeff Borzello sent out the note through ESPN. On the research side on CBS, we had also researched and gone back, 30 plus years. But per ESPN's research, today was the first day ever that three freshmen scored 40 plus points on the same day. They came in a variety of different ways. And even beyond that, by the way, we had 7 total go for 30 plus. That hasn't happened since the 2002-2003 season. The 5 biggest performances, they're in the YouTube thumbnail. And if you are listening instead of watching, well, we're going to lay all of them out right now. Keaton Wagler had 46 on the road against top 5 Purdue to get the Illini a win there. We're going to dive into that. Where I was here in Provo, thinking it was going to be and I'm here obviously for the big game on Monday, Arizona coming to town undefeated. We'll get to the Wildcats before we get out of this show. I thought I was going to come into a situation where Holy War, maybe Utah can keep it close, but it's probably an 18 to 20 point Utah win. Maybe I get a 20, 22, 25 point game out of DeBonsa. Who knows? No, dude drops 43. First time I've ever been in the Marriott Center. Extremely impressive. And before those two happened, it was down in Lubbock. It was the Kingston Fleming show, looking like it was going to be a Houston road win. He gets 42. And at that point of the day, it's like, this is one of the best freshman performances we've ever seen. I sent out that this is one of the best performances in a losing effort that I could remember in a long time, maybe since Buddy Hield went for 46 in triple OT at the Fog a decade ago. So those are the 3 big ones. Oh, by the way, though, Cameron Boozer just casually, again, just dominant at home against Wake, goes for 32 and another beastly stat line. Darius Acuff Jr. in a closer than desired home game against LSU for Arkansas. He goes for 30 plus in that one as well. Mighty impressive. Let's take them game by game here. Let me just guide you through the Illinois-Purdue one, because that's the biggest one. It's Purdue losing at home. If you would have told me before the season, over under 0.5 home losses for Purdue, I would have taken the under. They now have 2. Iowa State first, Illinois here, 88-82. A really good game. At one point, after Waggler had been just going off, Illinois hit 4 3-pointers in a row, and Waggler didn't hit any of them. You had Tom Avicic hit a 3, Jake Davis hit a triple, David Merkovich, another freshman, hit a 3, and then Tom Avicic hit another one. Illinois tied a school record with 18 triples in this game, GP. Shout out to Jared Burson. It's been a minute since he got a shout on the show. He said that Waggler's 46 at top 5 Purdue are the most by any player on the road against a top 5 opponent in the history of college basketball. That's what we're talking about. I have even more notes here. This is an all-time performance. I think this is an all-time day. When we did our year in review back in December, I was like, GP, you remember February 1st? No, Norlander, what the hell are you talking about? Well, we had all these insane results, and here's what happened. I think today is going to age similarly because of the outstanding, ridiculous, absurd talent that this freshman class has. We have so many more great days to come in this season. The fact that we got this on January 24th with 2+ months remaining was just incredible. So Waggler, according to Illinois, most points scored in a road win over a top 10 opponent in AP history, set the school record for most threes in a game. He had 9. His 46 period were the most by any player, regardless of class, against a top 5 team since Buddy Hield had 46. That game I mentioned to you. He set the Mackey all-time scoring record for a visiting player, period. He is tied for the second most points by an Illini player in the 121-year history of the program. How you like this one, GP? Shouts to Dave Downey. February 16th, 1963. A cool 53 points on the road at Indiana. That's the all-time record. Waggler tied Andy Kaufman, not that one, double OT against Wisconsin-Milwaukee back in 90. There's even more here. He's the first Illinois player to score 40+ against a top 5 opponent since Brandon Paul did it in 2012. Illinois, I mentioned that school tying 18 threes. They have made at least 10 threes in 6 straight games. Oh, by the way, Illinois has 6 wins away from home in road environments this season. It has won 9 in a row. That's the longest Illinois has ever won, longest winning streak since Brad Underwood got there. Let me just finish up, and then I'll take it back to you. Purdue loses the second straight game. The weird thing about Purdue in losing this game, it had 3 turnovers on its home floor and lost the game. It lost when it shot better than 50% from the field in this game. That's only the 6th time that's ever happened under Matt Painter. And in the last 10 years, Purdue is 137-7 when it gets to at least 80. It lost to this game. Weirdly enough, they got this is per Purdue Sports Information. Purdue became the first team in the StatHead database of the past 20 years to shoot over 56% from the field, score 80 points or more, have three or fewer turnovers, and lose, period. They had a lead late. Braden Smith at one point in this game twisted his ankle, and when they went to break, you thought, is Braden Smith about to miss the next 6 weeks of the season? He was back on the floor after that, but for a quick minute, we really thought, and I know you know that, because Wally Serbiak texted us about it, and I said that it was all on him. So that's the first game. I give it back to you. I know you weren't able to see a lot of it, but what Waggler did here is so mightily impressive. He definitively put himself in the top 10 status for a draft pick, and now people are starting to wonder, like, will he be top 5? The freshman class is so loaded, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. But thoughts, reaction on really just an incredible all-time performance that went down in West Lafayette.
Just like, where did this come from? And I don't mean this specific performance, although where did that come from? But like, where did this freshman season come from? This is not some like 5-star, was McDonald's All-American, right, ranked 6th in his class. I believe he was around 150th, according to 24/7 Sports.
I'm bringing it up right now. I thought he was even lower. Maybe it was the consensus. I'm bringing up his page. 247 Sports. He was 150, 247. Yeah. 150 in Shawnee, Kansas. Shouts to CJ Moore. He beautifully timed feature. He had a big feature on him earlier this week. He went to the same high school as our buddy CJ Moore, who does great work for The Athletic. And I don't know, keep taking the mic here, GP. I just don't know how often we get this. A sub 150 recruit that doesn't emerge as just a lottery pick, but does it in a one and done fashion in this kind of way. Like, we might have 1 or 2 analogs in the past 20 years, but he is absolutely a bolt from the blue.
So Illinois is going to be ranked in the top 10 on Monday, I would assume. And that means the leading scorer for a top 10 team is a true freshman or freshman. I know you hate that word. A freshman who was ranked 150th in his high school class. Like, I bet you don't get Jared Burson, if you're watching, look that up. When's the last time? Let's just get real specific with it. When's the last time on January 24th, a top 10 team was being led in scoring by a freshman who was ranked 150th in his high school class? Like, that cannot have happened many times. We talked about that a little bit a few weeks ago, and then boom, like 46. I mean, what? I was just like, look at this. I was just Googling while you were talking, just to try to actually remind myself of where he was ranked in the class of 2025. And I stumbled into this sort of a breakdown. It's you know how the internet works. When something like this happens, there's always going to be a "Who is Keaton Wagler?" headline out there. And so I found that, and I clicked on it. He committed to Illinois. I'm reading here straight from Yahoo Sports. It's where Google took me. It's funny that Google took me to Yahoo. He committed to Illinois on September 18, 2024, the first member of Brad Underwood's class of 2025. At the time of his commitment, Waggler had offers from, you ready? Tulsa, St. Louis, DePaul, Oral Roberts, UIC, Northern Colorado, Lemoyne, Texas Rio Grande Valley, Kansas City, and Rockhurst. And today, in his freshman season, he put 46 on Purdue inside Mackey. That's crazy.
Yeah, most points scored in a road win over a top 10 opponent in AP poll history. It is wild. Illinois has the number 1 offense in the country. And one of the other big takeaways here as a result of this game, and particularly how Illinois won it down the stretch, like Waggler's damage, the majority of it came before there was like 4 minutes to go in the game. Mirkovich was the only other player to get into double figures. But my big takeaway is that Illinois, with alacrity, is now in that pool of national title contenders. You get a win like this, you're 17-3. Purdue, a couple meals ago was the number 1 offense in the country. It was 3 going into this game. Coming out of it now, it's actually in a loss because both teams were really rolling. This was a really, really good game. Going into the day, Houston, Texas Tech was the biggest matchup, but this was also another really, really good one. It's a stinger of a loss for Purdue. They lose out in LA to UCLA. They get dropped here. Oh, by the way, 3 of the next 4 are on the road. But for Illinois, just a big time takeaway, big time game for them. And they do it. It's taken us this long to even mention this. Kylan Boswell didn't even play in the game. And I don't know if him not being in the game enabled Waggler to have the kind of game that he did. Maybe it very well did. But if you're an Illinois fan, you're on the clouds right now. It just unquestionably, and our buddy Will Leach, no doubt about it. He might be even taking this in live as we speak on the East Coast. This is Illinois fans. You have a team here, and Underwood's had some of these, without a doubt. He's had a few that have been really, really good. The one just a couple of years ago that got knocked out of the Elite Eight by that UConn group. That was a really quality group. He had the one back in 21 that got knocked out in the second round, but that was a 1 seed. Because of the offense, because of the talent, because of the rebounding prowess, they're really, really good at the line. This is the game that just flared Waggler onto the national radar, but also is going to vault Illinois in terms of its national profile and appeal overall. So big time stuff there.